pressing issue at the moment is the control a woman has over her own body, especially with regards to fertility, contraception, abortion, and birth. While there are many groups working to improve the legal and societal status of women, there is an overall lack of cooperation among these groups. When groups are not working together to represent the needs of all women, it can lead to a standstill of positive development. That's where reproductive justice comes into play. The Asian Communities for Reproductive Justice defines the movement as the complete physical, mental, spiritual, political, economic, and social well-being of women and girls, and will be achieved when women and girls have the economic, social, and political power and resources to make healthy decisions about our bodies, sexuality, and reproduction for ourselves, our families, and our communities in all areas of our lives. In other words, reproductive justice is a movement that advocates for all types of women, their families, their friends, and all of the needs they could have in their lifetime. This is important because marginalized women's needs are often overlooked in favor of white, middle-class women's needs. Reproductive justice raises the voices of women of color, LGBTQ+ identified women, poor women, women with disabilities, immigrant women, and other women who have fallen through the cracks of legislative measures. Reproductive justice is in fact a fundamental change in the approach that goes further than demanding gender equality or attaching abortion rights to a broader reproductive agenda. The movement encompasses all of these concepts in its framework. Reproductive justice is an extension of the theory of intersectionality that was created by women of color and the self-help movement that was championed by the Black women's health movement, which applies the human rights framework to the United States. It identifies that reproductive oppression is a result of a multitude of oppressions that could exist in society for an individual woman and is inherently associated with the struggle for social justice and human rights. It takes into account how women's societal institutions, environment, economics, and culture affect her reproductive life. In the 1980s, the reproductive justice movement was developed because it gave women of color an intersectional framework that allowed us to include all the social justice and other rights issues that could affect our lives. This can be done without segmenting, isolating, and pitting one priority against another. The reproductive justice framework, the right to have children, not to have children, and to parent the children we have in safe and healthy environments, is based on the human right to make personal decisions about one's life, and the obligation of government and society to ensure the conditions are suitable for implementing one's decisions. The reproductive justice movement is unique and effective in its approach because of its inclusivity and the wide range of issues that it addresses. In this sense, it is different to the more popular rhetorics of other movements, such as the pro-choice movement, because it deals with different issues across the board. So what is being done right now? Well, one example is of Spot Reproductive Justice Now. It is a reproductive justice organization in Georgia working on a project to expand Medicaid eligibility. As shown in this infographic, there are many advantages of expanding Medicaid, such as 3,963 lives approximately could be saved each year, 7,343 new jobs would be created, and coverage for Black and LGBTQ African Americans would be included. Another example is the grade school curriculum offered by Sister Reach. This proposed curriculum would include providing information about contraceptive methods, healthy hygiene practices, safer sex practices, and other such measures. Sister Song also offers a comprehensive training program that seeks to inform its participants on understanding the basic reproductive justice framework, how to apply this framework, and also finally on how to expand it. Another great place for resources that show more of what is being done and what can be done on smaller scales is the Trust Black Women website. Now that you have some resources, here is an overview of the main goals of this movement provided by the National Asian Pacific American Women's Forum: providing access to affordable health care, providing linguistic and cultural competence in health and human services, demanding community-relevant sexual and reproductive health data and research, protecting and expanding sexual and reproductive rights, eliminating all forms of violence against women, increasing comprehensive sexuality education, linking women's reproductive health to environmental justice, and ending gender discrimination and the promotion of sex selection technologies. So finally, what exactly can you do to help this cause? Well, you can always send resources to your legislators to educate them on the needs of marginalized women. You can also send articles to your local newspapers to create more awareness. Even in our everyday lives, making sure the voices of marginalized women are heard will create consciousness. So when you're having a conversation about reproductive issues, bring out the needs of these women. And finally, don't forget to share